What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the finale of the hit Disney Plus series, Loki. I am K-Din, the Conqueror. I got Sylvie Superior. I got a variant below me. I don't know how he's here and not arrested on charges against the Sacred Timeline. And I got Black Loki. I think he might also be a variant of Loki.
Purpose. Ghost Loki.
I think we got two variants. Oh, no, we got three variants on this show now. Even me. We're all variants. Everyone, we're all variants.
Exacto. Yo soy el variante de Víctor. Hola, ¿cómo están ustedes? Yo estoy aquí tranquilo.
But let's get, okay, before we get into this awesome episode, I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. I'm going to throw it to you, variant. What are your thoughts?
No speak English. What are you talking? Hello, I am the variant of Victor. I'm the Spanish-speaking only variant. And this is the only phrase I know in English. Pues mira, esta vaina fue... Anyway, all jokes aside, this episode was incredible. I'm very excited. You know why? Because this is the introduction to the multiverse. Yes, now we're going to have like 50 Iron Men, and we're going to have like 50 Spider-Men, and we're going to have like 50 Kane the Conquerors, and a whole bunch of Lokis. Look, there's Black Loki! What up, though? You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm here. You're talking about me, because I'm Black Loki. Yes. This episode was a lot of fun, especially when we took furthermore onto the episode. I had to wear my crown for this episode. This episode was very fun. Like, I can't wait to get
jealous that you have that.
Yes, I wanted to surprise you, variant. I wanted to show you that I am the king. That's why I have the crown. But this episode was a lot of fun, and when we go furthermore into the episode, you're gonna hear my thoughts. So, fun episode nonetheless.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. Especially the little Loki on Loki action we got. You know, I was waiting for it. The sexual tension has been there like all season, and it finally got a little bit of payoff. I don't know, but I feel like the buildup was way better than the kiss we actually got. That's like the kiss you give to like your grandmother. It was like very much like a close. I was like, do they even like each other at this point? The way they were.
I mean, you got to remember, it's kind of like kissing yourself in the mirror, though.
I guess, but they was feeling it. They was feeling the vibe all season. So you think that they would give it, especially he gave her that, you know, it was one line in particular. I was like, ooh, I know that he about to get the panties tonight after that
line. That line, honestly, listen, I'm going to say this right here. I hated The Notebook. It was terrible. But this line, I'm a guy. So, but this line right here, I said, wait, what is coming down my eyes? When you said, I just want to make sure, I just want you to be okay. I said, this guy gets it.
That was a good line, but it was the one before that. It was something like, so where does that leave us? And he was like, something because you can't trust and I can't be trusted. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. And you know, that's why I find it interesting because you say that they had all this tension, and they did. They built upon the tension starting in episode 3, and they continued that throughout the rest of the show. But the one thing I'll say is that they specifically brought up that she can't trust anybody, and she has those major trust issues. So then the question, and I think hopefully we find it out in the future, is does she truly trust him? Did she actually like him, or was she stringing him along the whole time? Like, was she just confiding in somebody, and then when it came down to it, she didn't actually love him, and that's why the kiss looked so fake. They purposely made the kiss look very passionless on her side, but passionful on Tom Hiddleston's side, but not on hers.
Ooh. That's a good theory. I don't know. I feel like maybe I just feel like she also has her guard up, like they said. You know, she's been, you know, running all her life.
She don't trust nobody.
She doesn't trust them because, you know, they mentioned that. But I feel like there was something there. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, maybe.
Yeah, I want to talk so much about that because there's a lot. Because there's a certain thing I feel. But why don't we go from the beginning and work our way towards it? Because I do want to talk about that actual kiss.
Okay.
Yeah, I do also want to mention, I believe there will be an assembled behind the scenes show on Wednesday, like they've been doing for all the other shows. So we will get a behind the scenes for this, like they did with Mandalorian, WandaVision, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that should be coming this Wednesday. Beginning of the episode, we got our little recap of last week, and they're in the void, the nothingness, and they enter a kind of castle-like building. Looked very old, kind of like medieval. I feel like it reminded me of like English architecture. Like if you put a house in the middle of England, like in the flat lands, that's what it kind of reminded me of. They go in there, and who gives the best jump scare of the MCU so far? Miss Minutes.
Girl, right.
Wow! Miss Minutes shows up. I'm like, oh, Miss Minutes is here. Cool. And yeah, this is where it all starts. Very good. I thought it was a very good kind of opening. Anybody have thoughts on what Miss Minutes had to say here?
Honestly,
she's a sneaky bitch. Go ahead.
I mean, it's hard to pay attention to Miss Minutes because every single time I see her, I just think about like, man, I would love to have you as a filing system. Like, oh my God, you would be so efficient in my office. Oh my God, you're just so awesome. Like, I just mark out whenever I see Miss Minutes because, like, man, the technology is just so much better than Hey Bixby or Hey Google or Hey Siri. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, she's just awesome. But at the same time, the fact that she has so much personality would worry me. Yes. Because she's a slick chick. Oh, she's slippery, especially when she got them arrested the first time. Woo! Slippery
That's
girl.
what makes her so weird. Like, at first I thought she was just, this little helpful, little piece of whatever the heck she is. I don't even know what. But then she has like this little sly personality. Like, hold on, what's really going on here? And she's clearly very much in the know. More so than even Rowena, whatever her name is, Rowena
Renslayer.
Yeah, more so than her. So it's like, what's really going on here? Like, why is she so clever? What's up?
It's funny because like I don't usually pay attention to credits, right? Like I know who usually most of the actors are and whatnot, but the actor for this or the voice for her is what's her name, Tara Strong. Who, if I'm correct, she did like Tommy from Rugrats. She has a long lineup. So I was so impressed when I saw who was voicing her. I mean, like I don't usually pay attention to that stuff, but I just thought that was so amazing. Miss Minutes. I mean, when she showed up, I said, "Wow!" I said, not for nothing. The first few minutes, I sat here and said, "Hey." So the first few minutes I sat here and said, no, she is not like the final boss. Yeah. Do not make I want to where we were going, but
yeah, I want to give her due about what she's done previously voice-wise. She's done some voice work on Rick and Morty. She was Raven in Teen Titans Go. She did some Ben 10 stuff. Apparently she was Ben 10 in one of the Ben 10 series. She's done Star Wars Old Republic, some stuff there. She's done Young Justice. Very decorated voice acting career. A lot of stuff with Marvel, DC, some Family Guy. I'm just trying to find what you had said to confirm that. What you had said she was in. She voiced Timmy Turner.
What?
Ooh, no, she's
voice of
Turner.
She was the voice of Timmy Turner. She was in Ultimate Spider-Man as Mary Jane Watson.
Awful.
That is a decorated voice actress right there.
Wait. Which Spider-Man?
That was
the Ultimate Spider-Man.
That was
the recent one? Oh, okay.
Don't do that. But wow, I had no idea. That's awesome.
She had a long career, but I just thought that was so interesting, and I wanted to give her flowers now because, like, when I saw her name, I said, "Oh, like when you see a name, you just recognize it immediately." Yeah. So I just wanted to like point that out. So I thought that she did a great job, and like I said before, like I said, no, she can't be the final boss, but she played kind of a part in this episode. So
and she was even referring to she kind of they get to what's it called, the Sentinel or whatever the heck it's called, and she tells them that they're about to meet what's his name, the one who remains, or
the one who remains,
the one who remains. And you're like, okay, we're about to really meet the Wizard of Oz. We're behind the curtain here.
Go
Go ahead.
Yeah, so you mentioned that, and she says you're gonna meet the one who remains. She gives them an offer saying we can place you wherever you want in the timeline. He can fix the timeline. You'll be a ruler. You'll be together. They said we'll give Sylvie only happy memories, no bad ones, because she has decades of bad memories running from the TVA. And they decline. They think that they're lying, that she's lying, and we go deeper and deeper into this fortress for the one who remains. Should we talk about the reveal of the one who remains?
Let's do it. I mean, these guys came here to watch us talk about it. Let's do this.
But you know what? I wonder, now that I think about it, why would she make that offer to them, considering what the reveal of the one who remains, what he offered was completely different? I wonder.
So that's the thing, and I don't understand. There's more with Miss Minutes later in the episode. I want to theorize on that a little bit as well, but there's a lot of, this episode is very cliffhangery, but let's talk about it. The man who showed up, you saw him in I can't think of the exact name of the show. Lovecraft Country. Yes, not getting a season 2, but he did grab an Emmy nomination on Wednesday. So he got an Emmy nomination, and he made his appearance as Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors debuting in the MCU. We all know he has been cast as Kang the Conqueror for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, coming out in 2023, I believe. He's in the MCU. Wow. Put on one hell of a performance tonight.
I was very happy to see him. Very attractive man. I thought so in Lovecraft. He didn't let me down again in this series. So I was very happy to see him. He put on a great performance. It was, I don't know, there was something about the way his demeanor was so disarming. And, you know, as they meet him, and he takes him up this little elevator, this castle with an elevator. Yeah. And, gives him pretty much his evil plot, or quote unquote evil plot. I was just thinking the whole time, is this the villain that we're supposed to get? Because, we just got Thanos, right? And Thanos was like this big bad. And when we were first told about this character, or Jonathan Majors playing him, he was kind of, introduced as, this about to be the next January. He about to be the next Thanos.
He's going to be the problem. He's going to be the next problem.
Yeah. I do want to mention, though, like, this is not Kang. Like, this is not the Kang we are going to get.
Yes,
so
exactly.
We'll talk about that as we get through the episode. But the Kang we see today, or in this episode, that's not our MCU Kang. That is a variant of our MCU Kang, which intrigues me even more, because I wonder, are we going to get multiple Kangs? Are we going to see all of these different versions? We know he's in Quantumania. I have something to reveal to y'all later that I don't know if y'all have heard about regarding the future of the show and where it's going to go next. I'll reveal it later, but I wonder if we're going to see different versions of Kang all throughout the MCU over Phase 4 and Phase 5 and Phase 6 before. I think we're going to get Galactus eventually, but he'll probably be our big bad for a little bit. And I wonder if it's one version or like 1,000 different versions of Kang.
Wow, that would be interesting. I think they'll probably give us a whole bunch in the next movie.
He teases that, and I do believe we're going to see different versions of him. I mean, I know when we talk more deeper into the episode, because I feel like we're all over the place, but like it's just like, because he teases that, like, yeah, sure, if this happens, but there's going to be all these different versions you're going to have to deal with. So, yeah. I'm sorry, did you wanted to add some on there, variant?
No. I mean, I'm just piggybacking off of what you just said, because I said that from the beginning. Like, there's literally, like, right now in Marvel, it's going to be amazing, because everybody's going to have a job. We're going to have like 7 Spider-Man. We're going to have like 30 sets of the Fantastic Four. People from back in the day is going to show. Watch.
Tony Stark. He coming back. I guarantee it.
Remember,
the Incredible Hulk
a few months ago, they rumored that Chris Evans was in talk to return for Doctor Strange.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if the Hulk from the 70s shows up out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Lou Ferrigno's showing up?
Huh?
Lou Ferrigno's showing up?
Yes, Lou Ferrigno's showing up.
Lou Ferrigno showing
up. You know what I mean? I think he made a cameo in the first movie. I think he did make a cameo, but it would be awesome to see him like You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get like, listen, they can take this and go
In the first
everywhere.
Avengers, I think.
Like this right here is the setup for all of that. You know what I mean? We're gonna
cameoed
see
in
Caps fighting.
Yeah, he cameoed in Ang
Avengers
Lee's
1.
2003's Hulk. That's where Lou Ferrigno cameoed. Ang Lee's Hulk. Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't he like the bodyguard or like the
Yeah,
he was a bodyguard for the building that he lived in. Yep.
But
yeah.
Not to move us forward too fast or anything, but Kang, or whatever we want to call him, the one who remains, he made them an offer pretty much after revealing that, yo, I know all that's going to happen. That's why I can dodge all of the, the strikes from Sylvie, because Sylvie was about that action. She was trying to kill him on sight, but he kept, popping in and out. And it was revealed that it's because he knows all. He has the scripts, like I said in the group chat.
Yep.
That was fire.
That was a lot of
fire.
Script,
I'm not gonna lie, that was fire. Like, you know what's about to be said. That was cool.
He knew.
Yeah, and of course Sylvie was unbelieving because she doesn't trust anyone. She was like, I think you're lying. But Loki, he was very quiet in the corner. He was just absorbing all the information. You can see the gears were working in his brain as he's absorbing this information from the one who remains. And long story short, he is all knowing to a certain extent, and he apparently, according to him, he grew tired of this job. He wants to pass this on to both Loki and Sylvie, and he revealed the reason why the TVA is around. I don't know if anyone wants to take it, but there was apparently some war.
Yeah. They mentioned the TVA mentions this. Oh, I've been voice cracking a lot this episode. The TVA and their little video from episode 1, which I just watched half of episode 1 the other day, so I remember it fairly well. They show you that little animated video, and they say that, like, however long ago, because time passes weirdly in the TVA, there was a war between all the timelines, and the timekeepers, the great timekeepers, saved all the timelines and created one sacred timeline. And that was the understanding, is that if you branched off from your timeline, you were a variant. And this showed so this right here proved that all wrong. This proves that there are all those different timelines. What Kang was able to do was shut them all off from being part of our timeline. So there's our timeline, which is the sacred timeline, and variants, they are variants, but they're more doppelgangers. They're more of like, you go to the Flash first, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4, Earth 80, whatever. That's what that is. It's similar to that kind of level. So they have all the Earths all stacked on top of each other, all those different timelines, but and they're all still going at once. And the variants are just people that I would assume are creating a new timeline. That's what I don't know 100%, but if I'm theorizing on that, I think they stop the variants because the variants are creating a new timeline. So yeah, they are varianting from our sacred timeline, but not really in the way they say it. Because we also never found out what is the Nexus event that created, like, that Sylvie created. Why is there a female Thor? Why is there, a female Loki? Why is there a black Loki? Why is there an alligator Loki? Why is there a child Loki? Why is there Richard E. Grant Loki? Why are there all these different Lokis? It's not because they're all individually variants. They're all individually doppelgangers of each other. But there is a level of variance, I think, too. I don't know. There's so much that got put into my head in this episode that I don't know where they're gonna go. And I'm ready. When y'all are ready, I'll tell you what's coming next for Loki.
I just want to know why, out of the millions and trillions of people in all of these universes that he, has access to, how is it that these two damn Lokis, the evil characters, because they're, like you said, we're all villains here. How is it that they are the ones that the most chosen? Yeah, I want you two to take over. Like, why?
The thing is, I don't even know if they were chosen. It was just they were more determined. Like, I felt like there was all these other characters and they failed. But these, like some Loki said, maybe the last episode is like, we always, to sum it all up, is like we always find a way. And they were just more of like, hey, that I always called the monster Mufasa because I don't remember the name. But the giant lion,
Goliath.
Thank you. And they and Lady Loki or Sylvie, she said, "I'm going to enchant it." And Loki was not sure about it, but until Mobius said no, she seemed very sure about this. And I can't wait to talk more about Mobius later on. Yeah. But they just seemed more determined because there's been. She even says some. She says something over the lines of like, this is not the first time she ever been pruned, right? Like that was an actual quote. She said, "This is the first time I've ever been pruned." So meaning she maneuvered all this before. It was just now she was like, "Oh wait, now I can enchant." Oh, we said Goliath.
Goliath.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Goliath. And I just think they were just more determined. I think there was been a story-wise, there's been a lot of different versions of said character, but they just never was able to maneuver Goliath. I mean, that's just my thought.
But speaking
they
of
couldn't walk with
Mobius,
Goliath.
huh?
Nothing. Sorry.
I was saying, speaking of Mobius, he had that really, good scene with him and, Judge Dredd, whatever we call him. And, he confronted her in her office.
Yeah.
She's stupid. Yeah, she does look like Judge Dredd.
But that scene was something. Go ahead,
yeah,
Sylvie, go ahead.
No, because you really got to see that it built on, something that they were kind of hinting at throughout the series, that weren't close friends. They were work friends. They looked out for each other at work. They've been working together for eons or whoever knows how long. So they grew accustomed to each other. They had a connection through the jobs that they do. And it was just like the backstabbing of her pruning him, right? And I just felt so bad for him. I really loved his character in this series. He's probably one of the best characters in this series for me. Yeah, because you really felt that betrayal. And it wasn't like the way he portrayed it was there, but it wasn't like overacted or anything like that. It was just perfectly done.
Yeah, let me talk about the B plot of this episode real quickly. So obviously the A plot had to do with a lot of dialogue, Kang explaining everything, and the back and forth between the two Lokis, all of that. That's the A plot. Our B plot involved Mobius getting back to the TVA and working with B13. I always get it right. B13, B15, something like that.
B12.
B15. I confirm that. It's B15, working with her to expose the lies of the TVA. They bring the hunters all to Judge Renslayer's school. She's a teacher at it looks like a high school. She's a teacher there, and to show that, Judge Renslayer is a variant. We're all variants. So if you can prove that Renslayer is, then they all are. And they turn the TVA all against Ravonna. We also do see a scene, and this is the most confusing thing about the episode to me. It's a lot of confusing things, but this one's not really talked about again. Miss Minutes comes to Ravonna and says, "I have the files you were asking for. I was busy doing something."
Yes.
Not telling her that she was working for the One Who Remains, because she knows who the One Who Remains is. She's lying to everybody. And she gives her certain files, and Ravonna says, "These are not the files I asked for." And she goes, "Yeah, but they're the ones that he thinks will help you more." And she goes through one of she uses a 10 pad to get out of there. And that's how we leave that scene. Mobius lets her go, and the last line she has is that she's going to get free will.
Yeah, I did want to point that out. I'm glad you pointed that scene out. But can we talk about how Renslayer was kind of I'm just gonna censor myself and say BA, because there's a spot where I want to give her a lot of credit, because there's a spot where he says, you can't. I forget the actual line here. But he's saying, almost make it like he think he's gonna be able to take the prune away from her and everything. And this woman beats his butt and lays him out. And he says,
in 2 moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with 2 moves. Matter of fact, he even made a joke. "You can't overpower me." And then he's laid on the floor, and he says, "Oh yeah, you did overpower me. Go ahead."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. But when I see Owen Wilson, I just think of Wedding Crashers. So I just don't take him seriously. I just don't take him seriously.
It's hard.
But,
It's hard. But he has incredible charm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But again, she didn't hurt him, because they have that connection. But as far as Miss Minute goes, I think this is what I'm thinking, guys. This is what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Because at the beginning when they first get into the Sentinel or whatever, and she tries to have them like disappear before they can meet the actual one who remains, because she probably knew that he had a little plan for them, right? So I'm thinking that Miss Minutes is a secret agent of sorts. I feel like she's working for another Kang or some other version of what's it call it. And it has to be, because they mentioned something about free will doesn't exist. The only one who has free will is the one in charge, right? And she did say, hey, I'm going to go find free will. So she's going to whoever it is she's been whispering to the whole time. Yep. And I think it's like another variant of, the one who remains.
I genuinely don't know. I have no idea what's going on with Miss Minutes. I couldn't even theorize.
I mean, I honestly think, and I have this question for you guys, actually.
Sure.
Number one, because I feel after watching this series, I feel like this was not about Loki at all. I feel like most of this was an introduction to the next phase, to the next thing, because we got introductions to new characters. We got an explanation of a timeline and a whole new thing. And I feel like Loki, above all else, was kind of like the catalyst to the next phase. I don't think that this, like, for example, you know how we did all of those movies and we were focused on Loki's parts and everything that Loki did prior to that, because we assumed that this whole series was going to be about Loki. In my opinion, he was the main character, but it really had nothing to do with him. It really wasn't about him. I mean, mind you, there were variants of Loki's, but the story that was being told here, I think it's for us to be brought into the next phase. So my question for you guys is, do you think that this story could have been done with any other character?
No.
It been done with any other character.
Story specific, though, because the character traits of Loki is what leads to everything happening. It has to be Loki. You could probably rewrite things here and there, but every single thing that happens is due to the character traits of what a Loki is and what Loki's been developed in the MCU, in the comics, all those different things. So I think if you put another character in that position, it's a lot. You probably could if you did a lot of major rewriting, but you would need to probably rewrite 75-80% of the main storyline. Everything would have to change. All of the that's it has to do with Loki's being able to withstand anything. That's why this was the perfect character for this.
Well, no, I see what you mean. I mean, especially with the Tesseract. But then the thing with the Tesseract is that you see the Tesseract and then that's it. After he disappears from the Tesseract, then that's it. And then the one thing that confused me with that is that that's not the Time Stone. Like, if it was the Green Stone, then in my opinion, it would have made more sense. But that I'm curious to see what happens when they bring back the Infinity Stones, if they do bring them back, if that even becomes part of the storyline. You know what I mean? Because they just turn them into paperweights.
Yeah, I don't think they're coming back. That was them.
Out of here. Infinity Stones are done.
But the thing is, the Infinity Stones was only in that universe. But if you're talking about the actual timeline, I'm pretty sure we'll see them again. Possibly. Because you gotta remember, they're only paperweight to the was it TVA?
Yeah, that's true.
But the Kang is, if they're paperweights to Kang, they're paperweights to the TVA, then they're paperweights to Kang, and Kang is going to be our villain. That been speculated. Yeah. This show, in my opinion, proves that it's going to be either him or Dormammu could be a big villain as well. And to them, to Dormammu, the only one that matters is the Time Stone, and I believe every stone is gone at this point. Every single stone is no longer in our current timeline. They're all destroyed. They destroyed the stones whenever they did that whenever Tony did his snap. I'm pretty sure he wore all the stones out and destroyed them.
Right.
So they could bring it in from another timeline, but I think you're going to start seeing, like I mentioned, Galactus. I don't think the Infinity Stones are the least of anybody's worries at this point, because now we're getting Kang and then we're getting Galactus after for sure. And those are more powerful than the Infinity Stones.
We haven't mentioned yet the scene that I've been dying to talk about. Like I was talking from the beginning of the episode, the actual, the tension that was built because, Sylvie hears the master plan of the one who remains, and she's skeptical. She doesn't believe. She still wants to kill him, even though he said, hey, that's an option too. You can either kill me or you can take my job. Which one you want? She wants to kill him. Loki's like, bruh, if we kill him, someone worse may take his place, right? So that leads to this battle between the Lokis. And I really like that because you get to see them using more of their magic again, which is really cool because he didn't use as much in like the actual MCU. Like he rarely used like his magic and like trickster abilities.
Yep.
But that was highlighted in this series and especially in this episode. I think it's proven that Sylvie's the better fighter at this point. She was kicking using magic left and right. So I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed, like I said, the tension. I was like, oh, they're going to kiss. What's going to happen? Okay, what's going to happen? And they finally did. It was a little lackluster for me, but I was excited to see it nonetheless.
So, I do want to add on a little bit about this. I mean, like, and it's funny. I didn't think it was lackluster so much, but to me, it was like, we finally got the kiss. Like
that little baby kiss?
Huh?
And I stand by my point, like of it being a baby kiss, because she was just trying to look. If you watch her, and I knew immediately. Oh, she's gonna. I was like, oh, she's turning. She's turning around. She's moving Loki. It's. Have you ever watched Community?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so remember in season 1 when Annie kisses Jeff, so he drops the guy and wins their debate.
Yes.
It's the same exact thing.
All a ploy, right?
I can
see that because she does.
She kissed him. Yeah, because he was in between her and Kang, or him and Kang. He was in between her and Kang, and then boom, stab. Like
she betrayed Loki. She sent him back into another. He sent him back to the office at the TVA.
Yep.
And
the temp pad.
Killed the one who remains, and so that was her decision. We got to see that the one singular timeline branched off into many different like branches of timelines, and I thought it was interesting too. That the one who remains mentioned that he knew everything. He pulled out a script, everything like that, and then suddenly.
Until
they get to they go over state lines, county lines, and he's I don't know what's going on after this. I lied. I really don't know.
I so want to talk about. I don't want to make this episode a lot longer than it needs to be, but I do want to talk about the one that remained because I did not know the exact actor's name, but when he showed up, I was like, oh, that's him. He's the final boss. And I thought this guy was so incredible. What was the actor's name?
Jonathan Majors.
This guy was tremendous in this role. I do want to give him a lot. I'd like to quote now these days is give him the flowers now. This guy was incredible. He was fun. I like that. To me, he kind of was in between. Like he knew his role, but he was kind of childish, if that makes sense. Because there's even a spot where when Sylvie says, "You took us from our timeline, so everything's a joke." He says, "Oh, Sylvie, grow up, grow up." And I don't know why it just hit me, but I just wanted to mention a little bit about him, and I'm excited on what the future holds for him in the MCU because, like you guys mentioned, Sylvie pretty much put a knife in his heart. But even then, like I live in Queens, I know if there's a knife in my heart, I'm dead. But this guy laughed. I don't know.
Yeah, because he was tired, honey. He was like, look.
He did not care. He sat there.
He was like, I want to get out of here. But
this dude was incredible.
Great episode. But I know Kaden said he had something that, wanted to reveal to us. Yeah, so what exactly is that?
Yeah, we have not talked about the ending of this episode either. Loki is back in the TVA. He's running around. Everything looks kind of weird to him, and I felt the same. Everything felt a little weird. You see B-15 and Mobius looking at the temp pad as they're all going into the different directions and like, oh, how are we going to handle this? Loki runs up to Mobius and he says, Sylvie killed him. We found him. She killed him, and now there's all these other ones coming for us. And Mobius says, wait, who are you? What are you talking about? Yes. And then you pan to the statues where the 3 timekeepers were in that library, which is a hotel in like Atlanta, I'm positive. But you see the statues, and there's no longer 3, it's 1. And it's Kang the Conqueror. He's got his statue. So now it cuts. It cuts the credits. We get a small post-credit scene and a stamp that says Loki renewed or Loki season 2 coming.
Facts.
And we got a season 2.
That's cool.
Let me talk about where this goes next. I don't know what's going on with that, by the way. There's no really theories for me besides this little part. There's a very report that came out immediately after the episode that Loki will be joining the cast of an MCU movie coming up that's going to be wrapping up a few different storylines. We've been talking about it. We said it was WandaVision. Then we said it was Spider-Man No Way Home. What's the next movie coming out in 2022? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Ooh,
we will be
makes
seeing
sense
Tom
now.
Hiddleston as Loki in that movie. So now we know
that makes
Loki
sense.
does lead to the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
We know Scarlet Witch. They're on set right now filming. They are filming that movie right now. Sam Raimi directing. We know Elizabeth Olsen is there. She called it she said like yesterday or today, it's the scariest MCU movie so far, which is not a really high bar to go to, but
what about Elaine? Is Elaine there? Please tell me
she's
Elaine is there.
she's not in this story.
Elaine,
Elaine
it looks
I want to talk about that quickly. MCU is split into two. There's the whole multiversal story, which is WandaVision, Loki, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, all that. Then there's a whole nother story going on, which is Black Widow, Falcon Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, and then you have a whole nother story that's going to go on with Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and all of them. So the MCU is kind of doing this thing where they're taking like they're taking sustained stories and they're just building them in like a set of movies. That's what it seems like they're doing. And I'm really, really intrigued to see how this pans out. Because I told y'all at the beginning, y'all had theorized that maybe Loki was part of this. That it was part of Doctor Strange. And I said, absolutely no way. Because we had heard it was only those three together. It was WandaVision, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. And Loki's not part of this. So that just blew my mind.
I knew it. There's no way he wasn't.
I mean, now it's easy to connect Loki and Doctor Strange.
Especially with all the the multiverse time stuff they're dealing with. And like I said, when y'all was doing WandaVision, I still feel like Wanda goes back in time as Scarlet Witch to help out her former self and give her powers. I swear to God, that was Wanda in that little shadowy thing when she was, wherever the hell she was. I'm telling you. That's what's going to happen, but good to know. But that was the episode.
Yes,
it was a fun episode. I gotta say, Loki was a fun episode. I just want to get my little 2 cents in. I thought it was a fun episode. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it, and now to know that. I think it's funny. You see different posts online, right? So a lot of people always thought Wanda was going to be the reason for the timeline being what it is because she's going to be in that movie. But then when you see all these different open timelines, you're just like, and listen, I mean, I don't have any answers particularly, but Mitch Mayhew says, everything is open. Conversation is open for anything, So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen. I was saying this as a cheap plug. There's a Black Widow review show, and I was sitting there saying Marvel has been, to me personally, has been killing it. The Disney Plus shows has been fun, has been doing a great job. It's also been holding us down until we actually had some Marvel movies, which, by the way, there's a Black Widow thing, another cheap plug, blum, 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 another bung. But Marvel has just been doing a great job. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vic, final thoughts on the series?
Well, I mean, I'm actually curious to see what's next, where they connected to. But like I said before, I felt like it was more about the next phase. You know what I mean? I feel like we're going to get more into this specific character of Loki by the time we get to the movie, because this show was all about teaching us about variants, teaching us about timelines, teaching us about getting us over Infinity Stones, introducing us to Kane the Conqueror, and also introducing us to Morbius and Miss Minutes, so like I'm very, very curious to see where they take it next. Actually, what is the next show?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye is the next show.
Hawkeye is the next show. When will that start?
So we don't know yet. It's suspected to start at the in the latter half of this year. So August, anytime after. I would assume September. I would think that it'll come out right around Shang-Chi because they also have Miss Marvel coming out this year. That is another show that's going to drop. That'll end the year. And Boba Fett is still coming out as well for Star Wars. So they're going to want those. Those are the three major Disney Plus's major shows for the rest of this year. So they're going to kind of pick and choose when they're going to spread them out. So,
well, I hope that Elaine is in Hawkeye because I got a feeling that the blonde little sister is in Hawkeye, and I love the blonde little sister.
Did you watch? You watched Black Widow, right, Varian?
Hell yeah, that movie was
so you look at that. And this is a spoiler warning for Black Widow as well. If you have not watched, go away. But the ending, y'all talked about it. I'm sure.
Like and love and share this first. But go ahead.
Yeah, like, love, share, and then go turn around and mute us for a little bit or whatever you want to do. But you know, Black Widow end credit scene, we see her show up again, and that was supposed to be her introduction to the MCU because that was supposed to come out before Falcon Winter Soldier. But you see her; she's with Florence Pugh's character Yelena at Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow's tombstone, her gravesite. I could not think of the word for a minute, but she's with her, and she says, "I have a new target for you," and it's a picture of Clinton Barton, aka Hawkeye. As we go into this Hawkeye series in late 2021.
I'm raising my hand. I don't want to extend this episode longer than it is, and I know I've been doing a bad job at doing that. But who the hell would not want to take out Hawkeye? He's annoying.
Like, y'all are not going to degrade Hawkeye like that.
We're not degrading Hawkeye. We're not degrading how good Hawkeye stuff was in his game.
Hawkeye didn't kill her.
Hawkeye is
he didn't, but she's like playing a game to get.
Hawkeye was the best character in Endgame.
Hawkeye is.
I don't know about that. But we have to end this episode. It's been a very long, extended episode. We're here to talk about Loki. We want to go on a tangent about other shows or movies.
Hawkeye sucks.
That's a lie. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like our videos. Don't forget to share. Leave us a comment and tell us what you thought of the final episode of Loki and what you think is going to happen next in the MCU, DC Plus, Marvel universe. Let us know.
The Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yeah. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll see y'all for Hawkeye. Peace.
Good night, everybody.